Thanks for making it to Module 5 first. This is an interesting process to hear about. There's a lot of information that you've gathered both from us and from the others around this Commonwealth who have been kind enough to share their experiences in the medical home recognition process of the NCQA. I wanted to say a couple of words about some special populations. First, pediatrics. I am a pediatrician, so I've thought about this a lot. And I think the challenge for those of us in pediatrics and those of us who work with children is that the population that we're working with in our medical homes is different than those in the adult medical homes, or primarily adult-based medical homes. Now that may seem obvious, the children are younger than the adults. But what I'm really talking about is the prevalence of chronic disease. In childhood, there's really three chronic diseases. There's certainly obesity, which we see a lot of, asthma, which we see a fair bit of, and lately a fair bit of kids with ADHD. And we don't have a lot of other chronic diseases to work with in our PDSA cycles. So in pediatric practice, a lot of our work is going to be around sort of generic children with special health care needs. You know, the sort of one kid in your practice who has a specific diagnosis. And that's hard to build a practice protocol about because there's one kid, and then when you have another kid with another odd diagnosis, he might not fit into those protocols quite as easily. So it's not quite as easy as working with large populations of people with the same illness. I think the other challenge is measurement, that in pediatrics we have some difficulty with outcome measurement because we don't do a lot of laboratory tests on kids. So we can't follow, for example, hemoglobin A1Cs in order to see how our children with a specific disease entity are doing because we don't have that kind of a lab test. A lot of our outcomes are process measures, are successful compliance with a practice guideline. And while that may not seem adequate, that is adequate for NCQA recognition, it just doesn't seem quite as good as what they're able to do in the adult world. So I think we have, those of us who are pediatricians need to think hard about what it is that we can do and use that to achieve recognition. The NCQA does know that children are different and the pediatric practice is different. And their criteria still work in a pediatric practice, although perhaps not quite as easily as they do in adult medicine.